Hello everyone, it's Friday. Time for Friday Sews. Time for a little sewing chat, little miscellaneous, what I've been working on, what I have upcoming, and just a little bit of life in general. I'm Sharon with Sharon Sews. Welcome to my channel, a channel all about sewing. I'm going to start with a winter weather update and the snow that we received here in East Texas. If you're not interested in that, fast forward to the sewing stuff. In fact, I put a timestamp in the description so you should just click on it and skip through this. So a week ago, when I posted last Friday Sews, I had mentioned that it looked like Texas was going to get a snowstorm. And we were preparing for that, and I would give you an update if we did indeed get a snowstorm. I'm guessing if any of you watch the news, you already know what has happened in Texas. For us in East Texas, the snow hit overnight Sunday, and we woke up to 9 inches on Monday morning. And it was cold. We woke up to 0 degrees. Because we spent most of our life in a northern state, we had what we needed to layer up. And do you remember my llama hoodie review from Itch to Stitch? And I mentioned that I didn't like sweatshirts because they look like this. Guess who was wearing this and this? I had long johns on, I had a t-shirt on, I had sweats on. You do what you can to stay warm because our power company was asking everyone to conserve, so we had the temperature turned low, we kept lights off, we didn't use the dishwasher, the dryer, the washer, we didn't use our stove. We just did what we could to conserve as much power as possible. In fact, we look like we're probably going to be okay now, which is the only reason I'm filming today with lights on. So there were rolling blackouts throughout our area, and we were very fortunate. We only experienced one, and it was only 50 minutes long. If you've been watching the news, a lot of people were not okay. You need to understand that homes in Texas are not built for this kind of weather. We have exposed pipes. We have pipes that are outdoor. Our water shutoff is outside, buried in the ground. There's just things that are so different here because they're not prepared for 0 degree weather and 9 inches of snow or ice. Fortunately, my husband is comfortable driving in snow, and we have a 4-wheel drive, so he was able to take a neighbor to the grocery store who realized that they were going to need a few things because they had some friends coming to stay with them. They had power, their friends did not. So we did what we could to help out when we could. So that's winter storm update. In last week's Friday Sews video, I asked you which faux pattern should I start next. I was debating between a blouse and a jacket. I was kind of tied. And I'm going to go with the jacket. I'm going to go with the jacket. This is Vogue I don't have my glasses. This is Vogue 1714. I mentioned I had purchased faux leather from Super Textiles on Etsy. I'm not going to sew it in the faux leather first. I'm going to do a test because if it doesn't fit in faux leather, it's not like I can rip out those seams and redo them. Once you sew those seams, you've sewn those seams. So I have a piece of denim here that I purchased from S.R. Harris. This was one of my impulse buys. I think I was just, it was the sparkle. It was shining there on the denim shelf, and I just had to have it. Well, I got it home and I realized it's got a lot of green in it, and green really isn't one of my colors. So see, it's not the best color for me, but I still really like it. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm not going to be too sad if the jacket doesn't fit. So I've altered the pattern already. I had to do a full bust adjustment, and I'm going to stitch it up in this and see what I think. Now for the lapel, I'm going to use the reverse side, and then that way I won't have all that green up by my face. So that's going to be my project for this week. I don't anticipate that I'm going to get it done in a week. This is the project I'm going to start on this week. Once I sew it up, and if I like it, then I'll sew it in the faux leather. I like the peplum design on this. I like that little extra. I'm just not sure how I'm going to like it on me. I probably will like it because I had sewn a Sandra Benzina jacket that, let's see, that you can see in my 2020 Sewing Makes review video. It's a red jacket, it's got a little peplum on it, and I do like the way that looks. So hopeful that I will like the way this looks also. The other thing that I mentioned I was working on was the Madison cardigan by Style Sew Me. And I had a knit, I believed it was a rayon knit. It was from a mystery bundle package from Fabric Mart Fabrics, and it was a snakeskin print. And I was saying that I wasn't too crazy about the print, but I thought it would be cute in this jacket. Well, I didn't even have enough fabric. So I'm short about half an inch. Half an inch wouldn't make much of a difference, would it? I'm short about half a yard, and what that would mean is I'd have to take away that long high-low contrast, and that's what I really love about this cardigan. So I dug through my stash to see what I had available, and as I just said, I don't like green, and look what I'm sewing. This was in another Fabric Mart Fabrics mystery bundle. It's a stretch. I actually don't know what the fabric is. It's obviously a polyester. It feels like maybe a double knit, and it's got a little texture on the front, and then you can see the back is a little bit shiny. But I had plenty of this, so I'm going to sew it up out of this, and that green won't really be around my face because it's cardigan. It'll be open, and I can wear a white or black or something with it. And bonus, I'll be all set for St. Patrick's Day this year. Every year I look through my closet, do I have something green to wear? And every year I do not. This year I will. I also have to mention, after I was saying last week how I hate snake prints, look at what I had in my stash. It's a snake print. I don't even remember buying it. Obviously I liked snake print when I bought it. I am making another Cashmerette Appleton wrap dress. That's the one I shared with you last week out of the blue knit, and I think this will be really cute. Because we were trying to conserve energy, I didn't do a whole lot of sewing, but I was able to cut things out and alter patterns because I can do that by daylight without having lights on. I did do a little bit of sewing, and that's what these projects are here. I had signed up for a Sulky online teacher certification course. I'm not so sure that I want to teach, although I may. I love teaching. I signed up because I've always been fascinated by the Sulky projects and techniques. The course I signed up for was called the Art Fun Home Fashion. And while it was a couple of projects that I probably wouldn't have chosen for myself, I loved learning the techniques. I think I've mentioned before, I'm not really a quilter. I've done some of it in the past. I'm more of a garment sewer. I love making garments, but I really enjoyed this course. I did techniques that I've always wanted to try and have been a little bit afraid to try, which is kind of silly, isn't it? I used to be so fearless. So this course was perfect because it pushed me to try some things that I had never tried before. And this is what they are. Look at this little bowl. I sewed a bowl. I love this project. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Does it matter? No. I remember when I first started sewing clothing. It wasn't perfect. Shoot, I sew things now that aren't perfect, and I don't care. You know what I like about this? I learned how to make a bowl. I've always been fascinated by these bowls, but they look so complicated. And it actually isn't so complicated. It's just step by step. I did free motion quilting for the very first time. Yay me. And if you are a free motion quilter, oh, I bow down to you because that is so much harder than it looks. People that are really good at it, they're just like do, and it looks fabulous. So I was just very happy that I did it. I did it with metallic thread, and then I appliqued these little dragonflies in there with free motion. Normally I would set it to a satin stitch and let the machine feed it. And then there's some fancy little yarn that got couched. It did take a lot of time, but I really like it. It's pretty cool. Oh, I forgot to tell you, there's a little love on there too. So this might be kind of a go-to gift project in the future. There were a couple placemats that were projects for this course. This is the first one. I think it was called Butterflies in Flight. So as I was saying, they use techniques that I was unaware of. You know how that is put on there? With sandpaper and crayons. Sandpaper and crayons. Never would have thought about that. I mean, who sits around and says, I wonder if I could take sandpaper and rub a crayon on it and make a transfer for a placemat. They are quite creative. And here's my placemat. So this technique, the crayon transfer and then quilting around it, there's just, I think I just used warm and natural batting, which is what I had on hand. And then your little mitered corners. I only had to sew one to complete the car, so of course I will go back and sew matching. I'm going to send those to my mother who loves pink and loves butterflies. The other placemat we had to do was this one. This is actually kind of a cool concept. This was all about a raw edge applique that is appliqued with a straight stitch free motion. And this is free motion quilting here. Edge stitching, double edge stitching. I think I've got warm and natural batting in there. And then this folds over. Look at, clever, right? Next project is this little tote. The techniques on this one were quilting using your fancy little stitches on your sewing machine and adding vinyl. It's a clear vinyl little pouch and it's got some doodads in there. I didn't have little doodads, so what I have here are some old buttons, and I took apart a bracelet that we found up in the attic. What else do I have in there? Oh, a couple little charms that say strength, courage, those type of things. The final project is a travel tray. It's called a travel tray because it lays flat and then it snaps up into place to create a tray. You will see I do not have those snaps yet. You can kind of get an idea what that's going to look like. Well, I don't have snaps on hand. I thought I did, but I do not. And with all the shipments shut down at the moment, I cannot get them probably for another week or two. This one was using, of course, the Sulky stabilizer, and this was using your quilting guide on your sewing machine. That, how many of us have a quilting guide on our sewing machine, and if we don't quilt, we don't use it? Well, it was really slick. I don't know why I haven't used it before. It's so great. Normally, if I was going to sew all these straight stitches, I would measure out and mark it with a disappearing pen or chalk or something and then stitch it up. Well, goodness, I need to be using that quilting guide. So slick, so easy. And the techniques on this one were just using that quilting guide and then using decorative stitches with metallic thread. Oh yes, come on, there's enough room. Okay, so Miss Tandy, who you met in last week's Friday Sews video, her gotcha day was February 16th. She's a rescue, we adopted her, so she's a little winter baby. And I just wanted to mention it because she's wearing this cute little bandana that I purchased from a young woman who has a small business called Lauren and Pooch, and she makes these fabulous treats for dogs. I'm going to leave the link in the description because you might want to check it out. I love supporting small businesses. I love supporting a young woman's small business, and this little one, of course, has to have a treat now that I enticed her to come in here. So this was her little gotcha happy birthday present. She's 3 years old. See, it's getting warmer and the squirrels are out, so she wants to go chase the squirrels. I'll be right back. One thing I really enjoy doing is browsing the internet for inspiration, and that includes Instagram. And I'm going to share with you when I see things that really pop out at me, like these pants. These are the Darlow pants by In the Folds. Is that correct? I'm double checking. Darlow pants by In the Folds, yes. And these were posted by Threads Tailors. She has given me permission to share this with you, and aren't these cool pants? I love that. I love what she did with the color blocking to showcase those seams. I mean, I loved it enough that I might buy that pattern because I want to make some of those pants now. I'm also taking part in the Frugal Frocks 2021. This is the list of all the YouTubers that are participating. And my video will go up on Monday, February 22nd. I'll talk all about it as well as give you some inspiration as to what you could do to participate. On a very high level, Frugal Frocks 2021 is you find a free dress pattern, use fabric that is in your stash, and sew yourself something. Post it by March 31st, and you have a chance to win some fun prizes. I'll give you all the details on Monday when I give you my inspiration, as well as what I maybe sewing for the challenge. I'll also link to that information in the description below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And until next time, happy sewing.